How you going, folks? G'day. Welcome. Another Beers with Bob. Gee, feeling a little bit croaky today. Don't know why that was. I woke up croaky, but there you go. So maybe a little sip. Any excuse for a sip, eh? Yeah, so how have you been? Oh, geez, we were just watching the news a few minutes ago. Sparking up again in New Zealand. My goodness me, I thought that was the safest place on earth. Probably, I think they'll get on top of that pretty quickly anyway. So there you go. So the other day, I managed to catch up with somebody I hadn't seen for a couple of years, and they went through my program back in 2014, would you believe? So that's a good 6 years ago, and I have seen them several times since, but not for about a year. And over a cold one, we got talking about back in the days when we met, and they reminded me, not that I probably need reminding, of how busy life was back then. And yeah, so you sort of forget really, but back in those days, and look, quite possibly some of the people watching there now tonight would have met me back in those days when I was travelling the country, promoting the course, promoting that sort of thing, and I was 50 flights every 9 months. So I was the only crazy enough person to be working with Knowledge Source back in those days, and also Stewie Siddell. And so working for those two big promoters kept me pretty busy. But, 50 flights every 9 months sort of takes its toll after a while. And you've heard the old story about, what it sounds a bit cruel, but, when you put a frog in water and you slowly heat the water, they don't realise, I don't even know if that's true, it could be an old woman's tale, they don't realise it until the water's boiled. Life can get a bit like that. Because back in those days, you might remember, some of you, I was always talking about property being a great vehicle to give you a good lifestyle. And to me, what a good lifestyle is, it's when you got plenty of money to do the things you want to do, whether it's travel or whatever, but also have enough time to enjoy it. And that's pretty critical. We've probably all been through times in our life where we're working really hard and, the money's coming in, but we just don't have time to enjoy it. I feel like a rat on a wheel. Not enough time to spend with the kids, not enough time to spend with your partner, not enough time to do the things you want to do. Sport, music, whatever it is. And then, maybe you've had other times in your life, and I've had both of these, where, the money's not coming in, but you've got plenty of time on your hands. But when you've got time on your hands, well, you don't feel like spending money, do you? And so, it's a balance, isn't it? It's trying to get a balance. But that balance got away on me back in those days, about 5 or 6 years ago, where I was, just as I said, spent most of my time in planes and airports and hotels. And just having this drink with a guy the other day, it sort of reminded me, my mind went back to those times, and the amount of nights that I've spent, eating meals in room service, and that after an event. It took a bit of a decision to actually try and get control of that again, try and get balance back. And so first thing I did, I left Knowledge Source, and then a little bit later, about a year later, left Stewie Siddell. So I had to make those sorts of decisions to get that balance back. And we talk to people all the time, particularly Hillary. She has a lot to do with people who are, struggling a little bit. Not necessarily struggling purely in the property area, although that can happen, of course, and we can both help there. But people that are struggling with balance in their life. And hey, it's not easy. There's particular times of your life where you got a partner, you got kids, and once you got kids, well, you're a taxi driver. You got school events going on. You've got, pick one up for music, drop the other one off at soccer, and at the same time, you're feeling exhausted, but you're trying to give time and energy to your partner to keep that relationship going. And then you got job, a lot of in full-time work. Then you got a boss, and the boss can expect, maybe a bit much sometimes. You got fellow workers, sometimes you got to work with people you don't necessarily like a lot, and you're trying to balance all this stuff. And that's hard enough for the average person. But then when you're into property as well, when you're trying to get into development, or you're into development, you're trying to get projects going, make sure they run smoothly, and you got all of that happening while you got all the other stuff happening. And of course, it's pretty easy to let your health get away from you at the same time as well. So, you know, we got this money thing happening where we're working, we're trying to make extra money, maybe make a transition out of the day job into property. We've got partner, we got kids. Thank goodness our kids are grown up now. Although, you know, kids might grow up physically, but they never go away, believe me. Between Hillary and I, we got five that are always there, plus a dog. So, you know, it's that balance, isn't it? It's being able to find the time, you know, the old saying, find the time to smell the roses. And, you know, that got away from me, well and truly. And for a while there, I felt like a bit of a hypocrite because I'm encouraging people to, you know, get into development, make lots of money, quit the day job if necessary, and have a lot of money, a lot more spare time and a lifestyle. And while I'm saying that, my lifestyle's disappearing because I'm working too hard. And while I was doing all that on the education front, back home, probably had 5 or 6 projects on the go as well. So fortunately I had some good help with the team, you know, the days of Ben and Darren and Luke. But just trying to balance that, it was crazy for me, and I had to make a call on it, and start to retract. And so yeah, balance is a big thing. And even today, we're constantly trying to maintain balance. We've got a bit of a busy period at the moment, of course, with the recently launching the Property Accelerator, and we've got workshops. If you don't know that, you'll hear about those pretty soon. We've got a live online workshop coming up. So just you know, just balancing workloads, balancing life, balancing relationships. Yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world, is it? 1 or 2 of these can help from time to time, at the right time, just to relax you, maybe chill back. But yeah, pretty important. So how are you going? How are you finding things at the moment with your life in terms of balancing? You know, balancing jobs, balancing kids, balancing property, balancing partners, balancing whatever. How are you going? How are you finding it? And if you're struggling, what are you going to do about it? Or if you've come up with a solution, tell me about it. What did you do to get your life back on track when it was out of balance? I'll be keen to hear. Anyway, in the meantime, I'll have a little swig and I'll catch you soon.